You're gonna find out why this shoe is the most expensive shoe I've ever bought. It's a fun story to share. Let's find out what that story is right now. What's going on? Welcome to Wealth Hacker TV, the channel dedicated to teaching you new ways to grow wealth that isn't taught to you in schools or by your parents. I'm your host, Jeff Rose, and I'm excited to share the story, but before I share the story, I gotta give you some quick context, some background. So growing up, I wouldn't say that I was poor, but I definitely wasn't rich. Up until the 6th grade, I was living with my grandmother and my dad. We had food to eat, but I tell you this, I never had any new clothes, or maybe I had one new outfit per year. I'm not joking. All the clothes that I wore were hand-me-downs. We had a family friend that had 2 boys that were a few years older than me, and every time they outgrew something, they gave it to me. They would literally bring it over in trash bags and we would go through it and see what would fit, what I liked. And that's what I wore to school. I would even wear their shoes if they weren't too wore out. But if they were, the one thing that I did get that was new were shoes from Payless. So my grandmother would take me to Payless and we would get a pair of shoes for, the school year, and that's what I wore. But going to school, there were other kids that were wearing nicer things. There were kids that were wearing nicer shoes than me. And when I was younger, I really didn't think much about it. But as I started getting older, especially when I started getting more into sports and watching, the NBA and noticing the shoes that my favorite players were wearing, that's when I started to notice, my shoes weren't really that cool. And there were plenty of kids that were wearing Jordan specifically. And I just remember, I was craving a pair of Nike Air Jordans. And it wasn't until the 6th grade that I finally got my first pair of Nike shoes. That's right, I got the Air Jordan 4s that were made in 1989. And they were and still are my most favorite shoe ever. I can remember when I got these shoes just how amazing I felt. I'm in 6th grade. I've got these sweet kicks that are, the best NBA player. They look awesome. They just made my world. And I wore those things as long as I could. I probably wore them for a few months after I couldn't wear them anymore because they were hurting my toes, but I just loved them so much that I didn't want to see them go. And it's funny because up until the last few years, I haven't owned a pair of Jordans since. And now, I'm on this whole shoe kick. I am buying a lot of sneakers and I am loving it, especially when I see other YouTubers that have a love for sneakers and Air Jordan. I was watching this video by Dan Locke, where he shared some of his Air Jordans that he owns. I'm like, Dan, I love you. I love the fact that you're a Jordan fan and you love and can respect and appreciate the Jordan sneaker. So I bought a pair of gray Jordans, then I bought this other pair, then I just ordered a pair that I'm going to open right now. Hold on. You gotta check these bad boys out. I just ordered these. Oh, behold, behold. Anyway, yeah, so I've got kind of this shoe thing going on, and the funny thing is I just ordered another pair of Jordans. Shh, don't tell my wife. But the cool thing is she totally loves these Jordans. I even got her a pair of Jordans that she loves.
I'm officially hip now. That's what I feel like. I feel like I'm hip. I don't know. I don't even really know what Jordans are. JJs? What are they called? J's?
But I digress. We're talking about the Air Jordan 4s. These bad boys right here. These are shoes that I just knew that one day I would own them again. But as I mentioned, I really got out of the sneaker game, wasn't really paying attention. And now I realize with Nike, they re-release these every few years. Smart. marketing move, money maker by Nike. But you know, I missed it. Like last time these came out, I think it was 2016. So then I discovered this site called StockX. And let me tell you, if you are a sneaker guy, like this is a site like you do not want to know about, because any sneaker that you want, you can go find it on StockX. Most likely you're gonna pay a premium, but you can find it. And I found that site, and sure enough, guess what was on there? The Air Jordan 4s, the 2016 edition. So when I initially saw these shoes, I saw them, I couldn't pull the trigger. I just told myself like, Jeff, you really don't need those shoes. Why do you wanna buy them? And then finally, I just came to the conclusion like, these are shoes that I need to own. So I bought it, I pulled the trigger from StockX, and I paid $318.95 for a pair of shoes. By far the most expensive shoes I've ever bought. I'm not saying they're the most expensive shoes I'll ever own, because there are some sweet limited edition Jordans out there that I'm discovering in this whole sneaker world. But as of right now, the most expensive shoe I've ever bought, and I haven't even worn them yet because I wanted to record this video first. So what finally changed? Why did I finally pull the trigger and pay $318.95 on a pair of shoes? Well, there were 4 reasons what finally prompted me to pull the trigger, and I want to share what those reasons are with you right now. So reason number 1 is that it's a reminder of where I came from. Coming from a family that didn't have a lot of money, that couldn't afford to buy new shoes, new Nikes like every year, like a lot of kids do. It reminds me where I came from, a family that struggled with debt. I've shared this on my YouTube channel that both my parents struggled with debt. My father, when he passed away, his net worth was negative because he still had credit card debt that he just couldn't pay off. And just a reminder that we didn't have a lot growing up. I didn't have new clothes. I didn't have all the new games, and didn't have a nice car whenever I turned 16 like a lot of my friends did. So it's just a reminder of the journey of where I came from and the hard work that I have put in to get to where I am today, to where I have an amazing house, where I have amazing, just all these things. I mean, my shoe collection, my clothes, and it's not about the possessions, but God has blessed myself and my family in so many ways, putting some amazing people in my life that have allowed me to achieve the success that I have. It's just a reminder of where I came from. Like these shoes is just going back to my roots of just like where I was, and the fact like, yeah, these were awesome shoes, but man, other than that, like we didn't have a lot else going on. And it's just a reminder of the struggles that I've had and the wins and the successes that I've had as well. And when I see these, like, man, it's a full circle for me of where I've came from. The second reason is because I can share the story with my boys. Like, I don't know how many times I've told them that the first time that I had a new pair of Nikes was when I was in the 6th grade. Because all my boys have had new shoes. I mean, I think they had new Nikes before they were even born. That family or friends had bought them. But I mean, they're all wearing new shoes. Like we can afford to buy them new shoes. And actually, I think it was my oldest son had his first pair of Jordans when he was in the 2nd or 3rd grade. So like they all have had amazing shoes. And I want to remind them that their dad didn't have this, that my parents couldn't afford it, and their dad has worked his butt off to get them where they are today. It's just a constant reminder that if they want to buy new shoes for themselves when they get older and for their kids, they've got to put in the work. You just don't get these things handed to you. You gotta put in the work, and it's just a reminder to them. When I have these shoes, I can just tell that story with them and just walk them through that and share those memories of where I came from and what they can do, the potential, the possibilities they have if they're willing to do the work. The third reason was, frankly, because I can. Because I can spend $318 on a pair of shoes and not blink twice. Now let me tell you, there was a time when I was in college and a little bit after college where I could have bought these shoes. It would have been all on credit, and I could have justified that I could make the payment, and that's why I had over $30,000 of credit card and student loan debt. But now, like, I can buy them, and yes, I do put them on a credit card, and yes, I do get my reward points, and I pay it off at the end of the month. And the best part was I bought these with our business credit card because it is an expense, because I'm doing this video on YouTube about them. I mean, that's how you hack your wealth right there, right? So I can, you know, it took me a while to do it. And that's the funny thing about that was, I mean, I've got enough money to buy these shoes, but this is one of the reasons why I have achieved wealth, because I don't make these impulse buys every single day and just keep buying things that I really don't need. And that's what allowed me to get out of debt and start saving, start investing, because I would always challenge myself. Is this something that I need right now? Does this bring me joy right now? And it was a long road before I could finally tell myself, you know what? I don't need this right now. Maybe someday, maybe later. Right now, I needed these shoes, or I guess I should say I wanted these shoes. And the fourth and final reason why I bought these shoes is because they are so freaking sweet. I mean, the design, the look, just everything about them is amazing. Like, even my oldest son, when he finally saw them for the first time, like, he was in love with them, and he wanted his own pair. So what do you think of the Jordans?
I think they're sweet. I
mean, it's a tough battle between the Jordan 4s and their Jordan 1s. I mean, they're both an amazing design, but these just have a special place in my heart because they were the first pair of Nikes that I ever owned, and I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for Nike to bringing them back where I could purchase them. Thanks for StockX for taking my money and overpaying for a pair of shoes. But either way, I love it. I love the fact that this is a story that I can remember, something I can share with my family. And I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for you to watch this so I can share the story about these Nikes, a little bit about my past and where I came from. And just a reminder to you, like, if this is what you want, you can have it. You just gotta put in the work. All right, y'all, this is Jeff Rose reminding you that it's your money, it's your life, and only you can make it awesome. Until next time, peace.